Righty. This is my first solo episode on Idol Talk with my cousin. Introduce yourself. You've been in the show before.
Introduce yourself first.
Well, they already know me. I'm the Don.
There you go. Say it. The Don. There we go. And then it's Fabian, the realer Don, the realest Don.
No, that's not even true. It's not even the slightest true. Today's episode, we're going to be exploring anime, other animation mediums, and its impact on the Western culture. All right, so what is your upbringing with anime?
I think the very first anime I watched was most likely Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. And I think it was like on Toonami. Remember, like when on Cartoon Network it'd get late, and then the robot would show up.
Robot Chicken?
No, the robot Tom, and he'd be like, "On tonight's
okay.
blah 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 blah." He had a deep ass voice. Yeah. I think that's my first forte into anime. But at the time, I didn't know I was watching anime. I didn't know it was any different from a cartoon. I thought I was just watching cartoons. I think when I
you really
realized,
didn't know?
No, I didn't realize it was really any different. I thought it was just like, oh, it's another cartoon. I think I realized like what anime was, and when I started like actually getting like into it was when Naruto started like airing, and same thing, it was on Toonami.
Elementary school.
Yeah, like when Naruto started airing, like I got into it, and I was really into like during like the tuning exams, and like I think I started watching it when they were like fighting Zabuza, like during that arc.
You talking about Naruto? Zabuza?
Yeah, the
the
dude with the really big sword.
I was gonna say, don't cut me off.
It's because you forget names, so I was trying,
the guy with the big
help
sword.
you out. Yeah.
And then
the man girl.
The man, all right. First of all, that's the first transsexual that I've ever seen on
like
an anime.
Like a show, yeah.
But wait, is she? Are they?
Technically, they're not. No, because technically,
is that a girl or a guy?
It's a guy who identifies as a guy, but just looks like a girl.
Oh, okay.
Like, he doesn't identify as a female. He just is a pretty man.
Yeah, and really, everyone just assumes, pretty.
Everyone just assumes he's a girl.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know, because like it's been a while since I watched it, but it was like a weird like love between him and Zabuza.
So Zabuza is gay.
So maybe, but they never explicitly said they were in love like that. It could have been like
a fling.
No, like a father-son type of love, or like a friendship. They never.
It didn't seem like a father love.
They never explicitly stated
they had more butt play.
They never explicitly stated like they were into that type of stuff. Yeah. So I don't know.
But that was a dope fight scene.
But like,
what was it? No. Sasuke threw the big fan. And it was
and then
Naruto came out of it.
Yeah.
And then Sakura was like, "How do they do that without talking to each other?"
But yeah, that was like my first forte into anime, and then after that is when I like started watching a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, I started like seeking out the medium.
Yeah, you started diving into what was considered dweebish, now is considered mainstream and like okay.
Oh, but back then it wasn't. I think
it was like if you watched anime, you got beat up. You got stomped on and you got peed on as a kid.
I never got stomped on, but I did.
Really, you never got peed on for watching anime?
No.
No, neither did I, but I really wanted to.
But I did get like made fun of a lot. Yeah. Like going to elementary school, if people like saw me watching it, or
you watched it at elementary. What were you watching it on?
Like in recess and stuff, like on my phone.
Yeah. During what kind of phone you had?
No. I'm lying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
But I would speak about it, and then
my man on an iPhone back in the day.
Those, I forget what they're called. They're like little like discs, and if you throw them onto the other disc and it like flips, you get their disc.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what they're called.
So in my elementary school, we used to play that a lot, and there was like Naruto branded pogs. Yeah. And I would I just said it mad nonchalantly when I was trying to figure out the name.
Pogs.
Yeah, pogs. And so I would buy them and then play with other people in my school who would also. But then all the cool kids would like make fun of me. Yeah. But like, who the fuck watches this type of shit? So yeah, and now it's like considered like the cool thing because of...
It's considered norm.
Yeah, and it's cool though. I feel like it's because a lot of celebrities now like openly admit they watch anime and love anime. Yeah. Like examples like
Megan
Michael B.
Thee Stallion.
Jordan, Megan Thee Stallion.
Michael B. Jordan really fucked with him back then. That was funny.
But yeah, there's a lot of celebrities who embrace it. So now a lot of like people who back then were like, "Ew, anime," or like, "Oh, anime's cool." Oh,
Yeah.
Bad Bunny. He like
Bad Bunny,
recently
yeah.
like said Itachi's name in one of his songs, and now all those like Bad Bunny stands are like, "Oh my god, we love Naruto." So yeah, I think it's a lot more mainstream now, which is cool. Like I've always that was basically my dream, being like, "Oh, I wish this was such a cool thing
That everyone
growing up."
that joined in it.
Yeah, so like I had friends like who would also like, I think the only person that was interested in anime growing up was you. I think that you were the only person that I could speak to about that type of stuff growing up, because most of my friends didn't care about it. I'd speak about it, they'd be like, "Yeah, shut up, we don't care." So like it mostly come like I'd watch an episode and I'd immediately like text you about it or talk to you about it.
Text me?
Yeah.
Bro, we weren't we didn't have phones when we were
I'm
young.
saying like when we did get phones, like you were the only person I would
didn't
talk
know
to
there was
about
a time skip right there.
You're so stupid.
Because my man was watching Naruto.
But I'm saying like yeah, so like I didn't really have anybody else to speak about it besides you. Because even my siblings didn't watch it. Like my brother didn't watch it.
No, he was into baseball.
My sister didn't watch it. Like nobody around me watched it besides you, and you were like the person I'd speak to about it when things would happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think like a few of my cousins from like my father's side liked it.
Yeah,
but I'd never really spoke to them.
Yeah.
So
For me, it was Adult Swim that really got me into anime.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z, Samurai Champloo, Ghost in the Shell, Cowboy Bebop, Dragon Ball Z, and Naruto.
Yeah.
Inuyasha and Yo Yo Hakusho. Those were my like go-to. Like those animes have influenced the rest of the animes I've ever watched. Like whenever I watch an anime, if anything I consider it to be worse than those, or like their plot is not as good, or their fight scenes are not as good, I just don't even watch it. I just like keep it pushing. I just read the manga or whatever.
Yeah.
But those were the first ones, and then there were cartoons that were really adult like. But the thing I really liked about anime is that they had some adult themes that weren't introduced into kid cartoons.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That I was like, okay, this is more real life.
Yeah.
Because like in kids, it's just like, well, nobody dies.
Yeah.
Like,
and then a lot of cartoons at that age didn't really have an
blood
or overarching story, which is something that I hated. Like I'd watch an episode and then the next episode it would have no something. Yeah.
They did it like a sitcom. Yeah. Cartoons were like a sitcom.
It would have no like correlation between the two episodes, so you could just jump in whatever. But then with anime, it was one of those things where like
there was a story driven. There was an
overarching plot. Yeah, so you'd be like,
point.
"Oh, I missed last week's episode. I don't know what the fuck's going on."
You felt connected to the character,
exactly, because they were growing as much as you were.
Yeah,
not just resetting every episode.
And then they also had this mortality to them because some people could die.
Yeah.
So that's like the differences between Western and Eastern animation. That Western animation always takes this route of rebirth, reincarnation, remarketing of characters.
Yeah.
Like you said, like in Western animation, they were like the next episode is completely different. It had nothing to do with the last one, and it didn't like evolve the story. It didn't drive it anywhere.
I think the reason it was like that, it was for marketing purposes.
Yeah, it was just to make money.
It was just to make toys and make money. They didn't really care about. I think in today's age, cartoons are a lot different though. Yeah, there are a lot of cartoons that are still that like, oh, we're making this for toys.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of cartoons now that have the overarching story, that have really good plot. Like to name
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, Avatar's a really good example. Korra, Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, Gumball. All these things are like good cartoons, but also have an overarching plot.
But that came along with time, where it took a while. It took time
Adventure Time.
Yeah, it took time for producers to understand that these animated shows could grow in a way that it takes the youth into like the teen years and continue to carry them on. Because what they had in their mind was that once you hit your teens, you weren't watching cartoons anymore. You were moving on to something else.
Yeah, remember when
yeah, thank you for cutting me off.
When because I don't want to forget, Cartoon Network had that Was it Cartoon Network? I think. Yeah. When they had that whole like switch up, and they stopped showing cartoons, and they were just showing live action shows for a while. They had like, you didn't watch it.
It was like short. It must have been short.
No, it was like a few, like almost a year, and it was doing really bad till they stopped it. It was like
that's short lived, bro.
It was like, dude, what would happen? It was like destroy wreck, whatever.
Oh, those shows.
Yeah. So it was a point in Cartoon Network's time where they thought, oh, we want to go for the teenagers. Teenagers don't like cartoons no more.
Yeah.
They stopped showing all their cartoons and started doing that, and they started doing horrible for a time.
Yeah, they try to go into the market that Nickelodeon had on lock with Degrassi.
Yeah, Nickelodeon and Disney Channel who had all those live action shows.
But the thing is, like, Cartoon Network.
It's Cartoon Network, and they weren't showing any cartoon. That's I think that was the major like issue with everyone. It's like, you can't call yourself a Cartoon Network and not show any cartoons in your like,
or try to diversify
block.
in a way that is like,
that makes sense.
Yeah. See, now I forgot what I was going to say, but
you were saying you were saying that that they were trying to like tell teens like, oh, teens don't like
that was their marketing plan. Like, teens don't like it, so we're gonna just not keep up. We're not gonna continue the story. We're not gonna drive anything. We're gonna just one banger is try to get kids' eyes on it and then sell those toys.
Yeah.
But they lost on a lot of revenue when you look at it like financially that they could have made. But I think that also transitions into the other medium of comic books, right? That comic books, Marvel and DC particularly, they have an issue with rebooting and continuously using the same story. But they're like, you know what? You know what's different about the story? That tree is orange this time. It's like, bro.
You know what? Batman's parents, only one of them died this time.
Right? It's like, they think that these minute changes to this plot or to the story of a character are revolutionary. Like, oh my, only his dad died, so he's a whole different Batman. It's just like, shut up and do something new.
Shut up.
I feel like that's the major that's one of the major problems with Western comic books, Western what's it called, graphic novels, that Eastern graphic novels don't have a problem with, right?
Yeah.
Right now, Eastern graphic novels.
So basically, you're saying about like light novels, manga, and what is the Korean one? It's like manku or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like the Korean version.
I said mangos. Mangas.
But yeah, I think you're right on the money on that. I think it's because people have gotten sick of the reboot shit. It's
same
like,
story.
Yeah, it's like, I've been reading this really interesting story about Batman. Oh, he got rebooted. None of that mattered now. Yeah, it's constant. It's like there's never an end point to these comic books.
Yeah.
So it gets exhausting to be like, oh, I'm reading all these things that Batman's going through, and is like making his character more interesting, more relatable, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Yeah. Because they want to reboot it. Because there's never one author and there's never one drawer.
It's never like canon. It can always be cut up and redone. And there's also like these things like not only that they delete and then they do something new, they also like they expand time points. So like, oh, this is when Batman started up between this point and this point. Everything else is still true, but there's this new chapter with something happened in between. You get what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's so my major problem right now. So to get to the point, right? Yeah. Eastern graphic novels have been dominating Western markets.
Yes.
Right? Now
they've been outselling them by a lot.
Now,
and back then it wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like
back
that.
then. Manga did not ever outsell Western, at least in this
hemisphere,
area,
in this market. Now, my major points of why they're failing is, like I said, same stories. People are getting tired of Superman. People are getting tired of Iron Man, Batman. Even though the Marvel movies are doing good, it's like what drove to the Marvel movies were the comics.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't forget your foundation.
Correct. I agree. But I also think it's because the movies have an overarching plot. You know what I'm saying?
No, there's a story. We're gonna get to that. Yeah. But I'm saying no movies without comics. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. No movies without comics, right? So no story, constant changing, they're basically immortal. They never change. No overarching.
They can die, but they'll always come back.
Yeah, no overarching arc, and their story. You can't expand on. You can't change the Marvel universe. You can't change the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So if you're doing a story for Cyborg,
yeah,
you can't change up how New York or whatever city he's from is and like the other heroes within it because that's already canon. So like if Cyborg is fighting a villain,
yeah,
and then you're like, oh, he's fighting in this area. Why isn't this person there?
Yeah,
that universe, DC universe, is locked. You can't do anything about it. I think the refreshing part of mangas is that there's a new universe and you can play with that however you like. Correct. Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Hunter x Hunter. These are all like new universes that you could dive into with new characters, new character flaws, yada yada, you know.
But I think the main issue there is that with comic books, it's never just one author.
Yeah,
it's one author for this many runs.
Yeah,
of comic, and then they switch it, and then whatever the fuck the next author wants to do with that character,
it's like a director. It's like a director. They took a director plot to it.
So basically, if it's basically like if the person who made Naruto, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he wrote 10 chapters, and then all of a sudden, a new writer came in and was like, "Yeah, I didn't like what that person did 10 chapters ago.
Yeah,
I'm gonna change this character for the next 10 chapters." And then there's no consistency, and that's basically what comics is. It's like, if a new writer comes in, they can literally just do whatever they want with that character as long as the higher ups are okay with it. As long as it's making money, they don't care. That's why they switch out Batman every 3 or so like reboots. Like I think the last reboot, Jim Gordon was Batman for a while.
Yeah,
he was
in
a robot bat suit. And that was just Batman. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And as long as there's not a consistent writer writing a character, it's never going to be the same as it is with manga. A mangaka will sit down and be like, I know where my story is going. I know what my characters have to progress to get to where my end is, and he can always change it along the way. But he knows what he's doing because those are his characters.
Like we're as the consumers driven by that author's plot.
Yeah.
So whenever someone else comes into it and starts changing up, you're like, what the heck? So if people don't understand, it's like Game of Thrones, George R.R.
Yes.
Right? He's writing the story, and then someone else named James Tubman comes in and then just changes it up and changes the past a little. You're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
You're like, upset. What is going on?
Yeah.
I that's an annoying part of it. Another thing is like there's no new characters really.
No,
that don't really hit.
There are so many new characters to the point that it's annoying. I think they've introduced a new character. I keep going to Batman because that's the person I read the most because he's one of my favorite DC characters. They've introduced a new character to that universe. Mm-hmm. I think every year there's a new person in the Bat family.
So listen, all right. So when I say no new character, I don't mean that there is no new character. I mean there is no new flagship. Like whenever there's a new character introduced, they have to be under the wing of Superman, Batman, Iron Man, Captain America. They have to be like, we have to introduce him here. It's like, how about you just chill with Captain America?
Yeah.
And let him die.
I think they don't believe that these characters will succeed without being under the wing.
Which is
the
funniest thing is that they have statistics, facts in their face in other markets.
Yeah.
Within the same realm, graphic novels that do well with new characters.
Yeah.
It's just you have to put effort and make it worthwhile.
Correct.
If everybody was mimicking Naruto, nobody would read any other thing. They would just keep going to the OG. But that's what they keep trying to do. They try to keep making a new version of Batman and try to make it blow up. No.
Yeah.
Make a whole new character.
Yeah.
It's whole new, like, why he's driven to fight vigilantes and do the thing. It's like what was really impactful about Batman was that, hey, he was impacted personally.
Yeah.
With crime. And that's why he took it upon himself to fight crime. And now everybody else is like, yeah, we're the same motif, we're the same yada yada. And you're like, I'm tired of the same thing. I'm tired of it.
Yeah. The thing, like, with because there are similarities, right?
Surprise, surprise.
I didn't start yet.
Oh. You should keep that.
Bro.
Oh. All right. Surprise, surprise. New guest came out of nowhere in the middle of the show.
Yep.
Usman, my bro.
What's
How
up?
you
What's
doing?
up? Yo, I'm a little shy right now. I've never done this before, but
Yeah.
excited though. Okay.
Mhm.
So what's up? What are you guys talking about?
We're talking about anime and how it's influenced the Western market. So, first question: how you got into anime? Like, what's your
I feel
story?
like I got into anime the way everyone else did.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, you just Saturdays you just wake up and then Yu-Gi-Oh is on, Pokemon's on, and Pokemon like took everything by storm.
Yeah.
Like till
So
this
Pokemon
day.
was your first anime?
Yeah, I would say so. There was that episode where Ash was saving Pikachu from all
Yeah.
those birds.
Did you know
It
you were
was
watching
just-
anime, or did you just think it was another cartoon?
No, it was just cartoon.
Yeah, see, that's I had
Everyone
the
thinks
same
that, yeah.
exact
But
same.
if when I knew it was anime, first thing I saw was probably Full Metal.
Full Metal is
Ooh,
fire.
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Full
Yeah.
Metal is fire.
Well, before
Brotherhood's
that, they were
better,
just
though.
cartoons to me.
Full Metal is garbage compared to Brotherhood.
Yeah.
What do you think? Which is better?
Full Metal Brotherhood or the regular one?
Yeah.
I never watched the regular one because everyone told me not to watch
It's
it.
pretty garbage.
And then they
it's
were
really
like,
garbage,
they
yeah.
fixed the endings for
Yeah.
Brotherhood, and then they were like, and then I watched. It was dark. There was a lot of things, and I liked the relationship between the two brothers,
Yeah.
and
How they
I
sacrifice
thought it was
each
one of
other.
the most flawless animes in my opinion. Top
Ooh.
five.
That's your
That's like 10 out of 10 for
It's-
you?
It's 10 out of 10. It's up there.
I think that's 10 out of
It's
10 for me.
9.
Brotherhood?
It's good.
9.5, 10. It's up there.
Yeah.
Good. My favorite character in that whole show is Scar. That's my favorite character.
Ooh, yeah, he's a good
Yeah.
character.
Nah,
I
I like
think mine's
Edward.
Ed.
I like Ed. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like Ed. I just like his.
Because he's funny, but he could also be mad serious at times.
I like his story, Scar, because like his
Went through
whole
a genocide.
yeah, like his whole like culture was basically engulfed into a war because another country wanted to just not colonize, but
Weren't they afraid of their power or whatever?
no, they wanted their resources, correct?
I
It's
just
been a
don't
while
remember
since-
that one.
I think they were afraid of their alchemy because they can do alchemy without hand signs because of their like.
No. The only ones
Tattoos?
could do without hand signs were the people who did the
They met
Forbidden
the door.
Seal.
No, because the little Asian girl with the panda, she could do it without.
But she had a sigil. They had in different hemispheres of the
They
world.
did
They
alchemy
had
differently.
different sigils, like different alchemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
remember the prince or the king or
Yeah, the prince from the same. Yeah,
the
from
one who
little Asian
turned to
girl.
greed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He, I forgot his backstory, but like his people, the little girl, I think was part of it.
Yeah,
She was part of the
Oh,
same
yeah.
land. Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm shaky on it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while
I
since I
loved it
watched it.
though when I watched it. I loved the whole plot with everything.
The most fire fight scene was when Fury, when he had to take back the capital.
Oh, when he
With the
ran
jet
through the
blades?
tanks.
Yo,
Yeah,
that was-
Yeah,
that was
I liked
wild.
it.
It wasn't Fury. is
My
it?
favorite scene
Fury.
though, in terms of fighting, my favorite scene would have to be his name.
It's Rat
Mustang.
Strong.
Mustang versus when he came in through the door when they were
When he kills Lust.
towards the end. Yeah, when no, he was
No,
killing
Gluttony.
Envy.
Envy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. When he just kept on.
He just kept
Yeah.
He was really bad.
But
Just cut
it's
it
not
out.
Fury. It's Rat.
Oh, my fault.
I was like, there's no. I was like,
Rat?
Fury.
no,
Rat-
no. I know why he said Fury because he was the Führer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
mixed
why he
up.
said
Yeah,
that, yeah.
Yeah,
Fury.
I always
Wrath
mix
was
up
the
those.
Führer. Yeah,
I always
that's
mix up those the names
Sins?
for the
Yeah,
sins. Like
same.
Fury, Wrath,
Yeah,
Gluttony, fat ass. Like, same thing. When
Did they have a sloth? Yeah, they did have sloth. It was like
Yeah,
that
they
big
did.
ass dude.
but he was
The-
fast.
the one that they were in the north with the
Yeah, the
Armstrong
really big one,
sisters.
yeah.
Yeah,
that was that guy.
they're basically like Game of Thrones. The wall,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
the metal wall.
Armstrong sisters and then like her group were like guarding the wall in the forest.
Yeah.
The forest. The winter place.
So when it
Stupid.
comes to like the Western market, how manga's like controlling it. Have you ever like really gotten into like comic books?
For anime, like manga,
just
Like Western comics.
Western comic books. Like
I did because of Marvel.
DC, Marvel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Marvel, I think, started the whole comic book craze.
yeah,
Because when Iron Man came out, like then RDJ and all that, I think that's when the craze started.
RDJ.
Robert Downey Jr.
The movie.
Oh, you're talking about the movies. I'm talking about
No,
like,
I mean, I feel like that's when the whole popularity of comics started.
oh, when it became
Like,
mainstream.
mainstream, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I did read them. I used to specifically, I used to only read Spider-Man comics.
Why?
That,
Spider-Man's
Because
a
you're
dope
from New
character.
York.
huh?
Because you're from New
No,
York.
because I like this character. I thought he was the
Okay.
most
Spider-Man's
relatable
dope, yeah.
character.
Mm-hmm.
He was just a kid. He was just trying to help people, and then I found out that he couldn't endorse his products. I was like, why couldn't he get famous? Why couldn't he just like get money?
Market
Because
himself?
but then he can't show his identity, so he could
Oh,
never
yeah,
market
yeah.
his products. And I found that recently, and I was like,
But in one of the most recent runs, he does become rich. He becomes like the
A
head of a
super
tech.
scientist,
Yeah,
But
like
then
the
didn't
web.
they reboot that?
They did,
They
yeah.
took
But
that all
that's
away.
when he was in the future, right? When he was helping.
no. And I think it was I forget which reboot it was, but they made him like a CEO of like Web International, and he was like his own like. So basically, he made it like, oh, I made this whole company because I'm a genius, but I also hired Spider-Man to be on standby to be our superhero. So he marketed himself without letting people know that he was also Spider-Man. So he was rich
Never
as
read that.
a
I should get
CEO
to
and
it.
also rich because his company hired him as their superhero.
Never read that one. I should
I've
definitely
heard
put
it,
on
but
my
I,
list.
It's
though.
like the
I never
suit
go in depth
that
with
were
the
like
comic
it's like
books.
The
metallic.
one I heard was the one where he was helping Spider-Man 2099 how to
Yeah.
become a better Spider-Man, and he was like, he was basically how Alfred is to Batman.
Yeah.
He was like that. Yeah, and he was guiding him through how he did everything.
There's this my favorite arc of Spider-Man is the one that Dr. Ock
Yeah.
takes over his body,
Superior
Superior.
Spider-Man, yeah.
where he just starts murking people. I like that.
Yeah, I like that. There's a page in that where he like, I forget who he punches, but he like breaks their jaw and he's like, oh shit, like I never realized how strong Spider-Man is and how much he holds back when he does fight us.
Mm-hmm.
Like Otto's like, oh damn, Spider-Man could have killed us whenever he wanted to, but he never did
Yeah,
because of all the
he's a
strength he has.
Because he's a
but never,
hero.
yeah, but never like
Because he doesn't kill.
he always holds
Yeah.
back.
He's a good kid.
And there was also like
Yeah, that's why.
another like line where like Kingpin kills, I think his aunt, like Aunt May,
Yeah,
and he like beats his ass, like.
near death.
Yeah, and then Kingpin's like, "Oh, I did not realize how strong this kid actually was because he always holds back." It's things like that. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." Like I like those runs where like Spider-Man's a savage.
I like when anybody becomes a savage. When we're talking about how manga is taking over the Western Hemisphere
Mhm.
and like everybody is on like an anime craze, why do you think that anime is just like taking over right now?
Right now, I don't know. But I don't think there's one answer for that.
No,
But like
yeah.
it's just became mainstream. I feel like everyone likes it.
But
I
why do
feel
you
like
think people switched from, at least in the Western world, switched from reading comic books to now reading manga? Because manga outsells comic books by like hundreds of thousands now.
Because they're still putting out content. They're
Yeah.
both putting out content, but everyone gravitates to mangas more.
When a few years ago it was the complete opposite.
Yeah,
I feel mostly because they're adding new animes, and I feel like a lot of people can't wait to see the next episode.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's the main reason. There's new things to offer. When you look at DC and Marvel, it's mostly the same characters and building.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the same point you were making earlier, Joe.
Yeah, it's the exact same. It's
it's-
the exact same bullshit. It's the exact same Batman. And everyone has to be like in a Batman family, or everyone has to be related to Superman. It gets really annoying where
Superman's 15th cousin.
Yeah, it gets really annoying where that universe doesn't expand, or you don't get like when you go into these sort of realms of anime, comic books, or movies, you want to engulf yourself within that universe. But when you're constantly introduced to the same thing, you're just like you're tired of it. It's been how many? DC and Marvel have been around for longer than we've been alive, right?
Yes.
So people are just getting tired of the same tropes. So that's,
I agree, but also disagree because I know there's still a lot of fans of comic books in general that like that type of repetitive shit, that like the reboots every year, right? But I think a majority of people are like you're saying, are sick of in a year from now, all these characters and all their struggles that they just went through is gonna get rebooted.
Yeah.
It's gonna be as if nothing ever happened. But people are used to that. Like a lot of old heads are used to I know in a few years it's gonna be completely like void, everything I just read, and I'm okay with that.
But at the same time, I think manga follows one story arc,
Yes.
and it just keeps going by chapter.
Yeah.
With comic books, it's like a different story every comic.
Yeah.
And then is it canon? Like, does this actually happen?
But doesn't that annoy you? Like when you're
yeah,
when you're
that's what I
committing-
mean. I feel
Yeah,
like
it's
that's
just-
why more people buy manga.
Yeah,
That's
like
the
you're-
point we were making.
when you're committed to something, you want it to stay true, and
Mm-hmm.
it just constantly changes.
Also, I noticed this like separate from the whole comic book thing. But nowadays, you can tell when people say like, if you ask somebody what country do you want to go to, majority of people say Japan now. Japan. Everyone says Japan. No one says
fucking
Europe.
nice.
No one says Japan.
Yeah.
Asia, meaning the other countries in there.
Yeah.
But Japan. Yeah.
Or Korea or something, like they want to go there and they want to like.
Japan's cleanly. Everyone's polite.
I mean,
Everything's like on time.
I mean, we don't know that. We haven't gone.
But that's
What if
what it is.
what if we go and we have a whole totally different experience? Like, what if they just
I'm
treat
sure
us like
we won't,
ass?
because the majority of people who go there
But I mean, like,
and
what
live
if?
there.
I mean,
Okay.
not everyone's nice.
All right, we'll see.
I don't know what to say.
I'm
to
sure.
that.
But
I don't know
I'm
what
sure
to
that
say
that's
to
the reputation they have. Like I've known people who've gone, and I've seen like videos about it. That people like there's a no tip culture there.
Yeah.
But like the people who go there feel like that's the one country that they would love to tip people at because of how well they do their job without expecting a tip.
Mm.
But they can't because it's like rude to do it.
They commit to it.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to anime, what do you think is the best quality of anime?
Like, I have to explain a little more.
Like,
What do you
I
mean?
think the best quality of anime is that it has a mortality rate, meaning like their characters are not immortal.
Mhm.
They can die and they can come however, but Superman never dies. He always comes back. I like how they try to keep it grounded in a way, and there's always a new way of portraying a human characteristic within this new world. Like Naruto was talking about loneliness, depression, and the grind to becoming a Hokage. Bleach was talking about just the redemption of one person from failing at something.
Mhm.
And Full Metal Alchemist was talking about the commitment to a promise to family. Like, there's these things that I don't really particularly see in comic books.
I'm sure they do it. I don't read it enough to not. Yeah.
Meaning like comic books don't send a strong message the way anime does,
Yeah.
right? So, I 100% agree. So if you watch the episodes of anime, they're really in detail and they're really emotional.
Yeah.
Like the way the characters speak, like it feels like you're there and they're actually like speaking out loud to you instead of like the characters. And
Mm-hmm.
so like for Naruto, he's like he's speaking to himself. He's like, believe it. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna become Hokage.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all the emotion that's with all the animes. I feel like it's stronger.
It's not emotionally true.
I think for me, the reason I prefer manga to comic books in every aspect is watching characters develop and grow.
Yeah.
It's like you read the first chapter or watch the very first episode, and then like 100 episodes later, you can see that character has had
Developed.
growth and it has developed, and you can see where their story is going and also see where their story ends, right? With comic book, there is none of that. It's like, oh, I can read Batman for the next 20 years, and Batman will never end.
No, it'll be
Batman
the
will
same.
always be Batman.
Yeah. Batman.
Exactly. But like if I watch let's say like Dragon Ball Z, I watched Dragon Ball since he was like a baby. I saw him all the way up to grow up, have like 3 kids, and still
He's
can
not
see
a good
him.
Father though.
Horrible father. But what I'm saying is that I
Never a
can
good father
watch
ever.
I can watch a character in a manga grow up and like experience life when in comic books you can't. A character is always stuck in that age,
They're stagnant.
and it's always like that.
But is Dragon Ball really a good example?
No, because
I'm just saying, like, you
not a
watched him as a baby grow all the way up to who he is today.
I mean, you can say that for a lot of comic books as well. Like, right? Superman, you saw him as a kid and he grew.
No,
But
it's
very
different.
quickly.
No,
Very
when
quickly.
Spider-Man, when Superman was introduced, he was an adult, and then they
Yeah.
went back and showed you his childhood, and even then, he has like 16 different childhoods from 60 different writers.
Yeah.
With Dragon Ball, I can always go back, watch Dragon Ball, be like, this is Goku as a kid, then go to Dragon Ball Z, be like, this is Goku as like a teenager, as an adult, and then go to Super, be like, this is him as like a father of 3 and this and that.
A bad father of 3.
Yeah, but but same
He's
with
like, raise my child, now I'm gonna go fight.
same with Naruto, right?
He had
You
3
go-
kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gohan.
Goten, Gohan, and who else?
Goten. No, he has 2.
Isn't it? You're right.
Gohan.
Yeah, it is too.
Yeah, you're putting too many kids on his head, bro. Come on.
Whatever.
He's
the
already
fuck.
not taking care of the other two. Like,
But same thing with Naruto, right? Now you saw Naruto as a kid in Naruto,
Yeah.
then a teenager
He's
to
not
like
a
a young
father
adult,
either.
and Shippuden. Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Have you watched Boruto at all?
In the beginning, Boruto was like, "Yo, I don't like you. Never spend time with me."
Correct, but if you're still reading Boruto, you can see he's a
Because
much
he's
better
only
father.
with him because there's a huge ass fight going on, and they
No.
have to fight.
No, he's a much better father.
I didn't
Once
watch
they
it.
had a once he sat down and spoke to his dad about the after the Boruto movie. That's basically like that arc that he's like, "Oh, my dad's a dickhead."
Yeah.
They are much better after that, and he's a much better father.
Well, we'll see.
You're
We'll
just
see
talking
about
about your
that.
ass. Don't talk out of your ass without knowing shit.
No, another thing that people bring up as like a red flag in comic books is introducing a lot of like liberal flag waving, like, oh, we have a lot of LGBT community
woke
character.
culture. I was like,
woke
what the fuck are you talking about?
Like that. They also have like, oh, we have a trans character, we have a gay character. Like in anime, I don't really see a lot of that being pushed, but I don't think that's a good or I don't think that's a bad or a good thing. I just think it's the way that they roll it out.
I think it should be natural.
I think that's
Yeah.
more of a cultural thing.
Go
Japan is, I mean, U.S. is more inclined to show those.
To show all those things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Japan
that's
is
why
less.
like a lot of American fans like send death threats and shit to manga characters or to mangakas who write characters
What?
that are like,
It's corny.
oh, why isn't this character gay? I want this character to be gay. He's like, well, I didn't write that character to be gay.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you're not like the kids from My Hero. There's so many people who ship like all the male characters, and the guy who
They
wrote
ship?
like they want those two characters together. That's what a ship is.
Ship.
Oh,
Yeah.
you knew that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, like,
are you
like-
in it?
No, what? I don't
Oh,
give a
okay.
fuck.
Huh?
Okay.
Um,
No, I was just asking. if you
like
were
the
you
main
guys-
character Deku, and then the blonde one Bakugo.
Yeah.
In America, everyone wants them to be together, even though those characters are not written to be gay or ever show any sign of being gay. And because they're not gay, a lot of people send the author death threats to make them gay.
That's corny.
And he's like, "There's no like these characters aren't made to be gay.
yeah.
Like if they want a gay character, like he'll introduce one maybe later down the line if he wants to. But the whole like, oh, we need a gay character. I don't get that part.
I feel like the way that they roll out these sort of tropes,
Yeah.
these token characters, is not genuine. It's just completely like, here, you
For
want
anime?
this? No,
Or-
comic books. Like, you want this? Here, and then they just let it go after it dies. It's just Batwoman on
Yeah.
CW.
Yeah.
Like, why did they change her whole race and they made her gay for out of nowhere?
What do you mean?
black-
Batwoman's always been gay.
The black woman.
Batwoman's always been gay.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
because Ruby Rose quit.
Ruby
Well,
Rose.
yeah,
quit.
that's why they made her black. But
It's not because they were trying to do something.
Oh, okay. All
but
right.
her being gay, she's always been gay.
Oh, okay.
Batwoman, at least. Batwoman's been gay always
Oh, okay. I
in the
didn't know
comic
that.
books.
Yeah.
But
That's
Batgirl is, I think, who you're thinking about. Barbara Gordon, she's not gay.
Barbara, yeah.
Mm.
But
I always mix those two up.
Batwoman is Kate Kane, and she's always been gay, but she's never been black. I don't know why they made her black. Like he said, I think it's just because she quit, so they needed someone to. But now they're replacing the black girl for someone else. Again, so now because Ruby Rose left, they made her character like Kat Kane leave Gotham, and then they gave the Batwoman mantle to a whole nother character, and now they want Kat Kane, the character, to come back, but they don't want to hire Ruby because she doesn't want it, so they hired someone else to play that character. So when she comes back, she's just going to be recasted.
It's corny.
That's an interesting point. Like they're making Superman black now, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Instead-
That I don't understand
And then
either.
I saw a tweet which I 100% agreed with. They said you have Static Shock, right? Black character.
Yo, that
They have so many black
Dope.
actors.
dope.
Right, and they could just build off him, and,
And the
I
thing
know a lot of people would watch that
Static Shock, I would watch
But
that.
they have a black
100%.
Superman. Like he is.
in Earth 2.
Yeah.
But they made
Yeah,
Clark
but that-
Kent, right?
no one cares about
but
Earth
not,
2.
but not even Earth 2. On Krypton, they were black Kryptonians.
But only the white Kryptonians survived.
No, because in the comic book, there's a black Superman who made it to fucking dumbass, who made it to Earth, and then he wears like a blue suit. But instead of giving that character the limelight and being like, oh, we're gonna make a movie about him, they're like, no, we're gonna just change Kal-El to a black person.
Yeah.
We'll make Clark Kent black, which makes no sense.
I'm still.
He's saying he wants Earth 2 to be the one that they push instead of parallel.
Yeah, but I feel like that's just. I feel like DC's just going everywhere at this point. They don't even know what they're doing.
DC's fucking dumb.
DC used to be
DC is,
solid in comic books and animation, and now they're not even solid in comic books, movies. They're only good in animation.
Not even that sometimes.
Not even. Oh, that's freaking garbage.
I think Norse mythology is also fluid.
That's the thing. It's because Loki in Norse mythology literally fucks everything. He fucks horses. He fucks snakes. He fucks giants.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he has Jormungandr.
The snake.
That's
The
how you,
snake.
The big snake.
That's how you pronounce it,
That's
right?
his son.
I don't know.
And then he has
Jormungandr or Jormungandr.
I don't know.
Something like that, right?
Jumanji?
Yo, look it up. I actually Christian. You know
Only isn't that the hammer?
No, Shaman.
the sea
Jormungandr.
serpent,
the world serpent.
right? The
He's in
Fenrir.
God of War
By the way,
game.
that was
Fen-
Christian speaking in the background.
He's in
That was another
he's
guess.
in the God of War game. You know the big ass snake in the river.
Yeah, I know.
That's Loki's son.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
and then
Fenrir, the big
Fenrir.
ass wolf. That's Loki's son.
Yeah.
You know, if I had a husky, I'd name it Fenrir.
That's dope. That's smart.
But yeah, he's not bisexual. He's pansexual. I think that's what it is. Where you
Yeah,
don't care about
that's why you like
gender.
everyone.
He just
Or-
loves whatever.
Or race or species.
Yeah, he's just whatever. And it's not. And again,
he said species.
yeah. Well,
I
technically,
just caught it.
and in
You're right though. It makes sense.
the show, it's not incest because they're not related. It's
They're
not
the
his sister.
same person.
It's not his sister.
It's a different dimension.
I think I would
Different time.
I would classify that as more masturbation than it's incest. Because if it's the same you from a different universe, right?
Do you know how gay that is?
What do you mean?
No, what's
It's
the
a
next
female.
question?
I'm just like that would be just really odd if you had a.
That's
If
odd.
you-
I look personally, I wouldn't do it. But Juwan, if that's okay to you,
Yeah, it'll be perfectly fine, right? It'll be perfectly fine. That's what you're saying. It's
I think it's
masturbation.
fine.
You know,
I
If
think
you
it's
had
fine.
another,
there was-
from,
if
from
there
a
was-
different time
yes,
to
and if
beat
she
your
was
feet
female-
off, you'll be good.
I'm chilling with it. I don't give a fuck.
That's awesome.
I don't care.
yeah. Come on.
What anime?
Where
do you,
were we?
What anime do you think could be introduced into like the big screen,
That's not.
Like
Yeah.
live action?
live action? Yeah.
Oh, nothing.
Oh,
There would never be.
they mess up everything.
Yeah, there would never be a live action
they
anime
used to
adaptation.
say that about comic books.
No, I don't think
They
it's possible.
used to say that about
But
comic books.
they've tried it and they failed.
I know,
every
but
time.
they've tried comic books too. But I'm saying, what do you think is going to be the best? I feel like the best ones are going to be the ones that are not out there in the shonen world, like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z. I'm thinking about like Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell, Samurai Champloo. Like those are grounded in reality. You can start off with those and then
You
keep going
say
up.
that then, but then you see fight scenes or animation, right?
Not gonna lie.
It's too fluid and too well for it to be like.
Have you not seen Captain America's like Winter
I'm not
Soldier?
gonna lie.
His fight scenes were valid.
I think Parasite would be a good horror show.
A good horror show.
Yeah.
They've made a live action. And it
Oh,
wasn't
they
good.
tried
it? It wasn't good?
It wasn't good.
All right, then scrap that.
But again,
Doesn't
that's
count.
like the whole animation. That the person's arm just switches up into a blade or something.
Yeah.
I'm talking about something that's more grounded
Correct.
into reality that could
Like
actually,
Death Note,
Death-
they messed that up.
They messed that
no,
up.
but that's the director. It's like
No, because they have Japanese live adaptations too, and it's also bad.
But why don't they just stick to the script? Like I don't know.
I don't know why people
Yeah, I
do
think
that.
Western people
Like I
they
read books
take it
and
they're
I'm like,
nah.
yeah, same thing. I read books and I'm like, yo, why can't you just do what the book says?
Yeah.
It's like right there.
Literally, you have
a script,
the
yeah.
whole script.
It's like the
There's
person
no
writes it
need-
up.
there's-
It's like,
there
this
is
good,
no
you
need.
have the source material.
There's no need for a screenwriter.
I think they
You
think they
have
can
the
make it better,
material.
and they end up making it worse
I personally feel like those animes could be like good hits
because they've made a Ghost in the Shell movie.
I know, but again, it was completely
With
like
Scarlett Johansson.
it's
Yeah.
completely
Oh.
like
It was
off
bad.
of what it wasn't Ghost in the Shell.
Exactly.
It just wasn't
It
Ghost
was
in the
bad.
But I'm saying the best DC movies,
They made,
DC and Marvel movies are the ones that stay true to its source material.
Yeah.
That carry the characters like portrayal into the big screen.
Yeah, from
It's
like
not a whole new
DC,
thing.
the one movie they did well was Shazam, and
Wonder
because they
Woman
stuck
first,
to
the first one,
Shazam.
Wonder
because they
Woman,
stuck to the material.
they stuck to the
Yeah.
code, and I feel
But-
like if you do that with anime,
but they also take liberties. There's a lot of things that are like
of course,
not
because some
comic
things you
book
can't
accurate.
do, of course. But if you stay true, at least 80%, it's going to be good because the people who like the character are coming to see the character, not your.
Did
character.
you watch Alita Battle Angel?
What?
Alita Battle Angel, the movie. It's an
New,
anime
right?
adaptation.
Came out recently.
No, it was made like 2 or 3 years ago. It's literally.
You would
it's
ask me
clo-
that now?
I'm saying because it's like it's almost 80 or 90% of the manga, and it didn't do well. And the main character is mostly CGI, and it's good CGI. It just doesn't translate.
I don't even know what you're talking about, bro.
He's saying.
I know what he's saying, but I don't know what movie.
But
he's talking
why
about.
do you think it didn't do well?
I don't know. I think anime can't translate in live action. It just doesn't work.
I feel like you're just putting too much hate against it.
I'm not saying hate. I'm giving you examples.
I do get him. Yeah.
Because
I'm on the other side of the boat.
Because you're saying, oh, the reason they don't work is because they don't follow the source material.
Exactly.
But I'm giving you
But he's
one
giving
that
an
did.
example where they did.
Yeah, but
and
one
they
example is
failed.
not good enough.
What do you mean?
One example is not good
Okay.
enough. We need multiple. We need multiple tries.
I feel like if they redid Death Note like properly, they could have done it.
Yeah.
I think
Sure.
Death Note would work because it's there's not a lot of action. It's mostly like psychological than it is like running around shooting and punching people. That's where I think it won't translate because the animation will always be better than whatever live action can produce.
Think they could do Code Geass,
Code Geass?
No,
I haven't even watched that, to be honest.
the one with Lelouch.
where he's rebelling against the government.
Yeah, I haven't watched that.
They've made what's the movie?
I didn't finish it, but like
He's super smart, right?
What-
And his eye looks like
and
a,
he
it looks
like
like
a
a bird.
Yeah, he
Like
gets
a
to
bird, yeah.
he gets to control people and then rebel against the British
I
British
remember-
government. Yeah.
I feel like he played chess with somebody. Like there was a whole fight scene of two people playing chess, and it was like
That's
a
in
war.
Hunter x Hunter.
No, all right.
Oh no, it's what is it called? The thing that they play.
Say
The
it.
king and I don't know what it's called. It's not chess because the pieces are like a circle. They look like
Mhm.
that. I don't
They're
know what
black and white.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got
What's it
this.
called?
you know
got
what it
it.
is.
I really don't.
I don't.
You don't. Oh,
I just want you
I
guys to
thought
try.
you knew it.
It starts with a D, right?
I don't know what it's
These
called.
nuts.
I knew he was gonna make a joke. I knew it. It's predictable.
I like how you looked into the screen. Now, what do you think could save comic books in the Western market? What do you think could save them? Because they're dying.
Comic books, like just reading, opening up, going to the thing.
Yeah.
I don't
He's
know.
saying basically his question is like,
Since they're
what do you
dying
think
out.
can they do differently in
Yeah.
order to get their audience back and hold them? Because obviously what they're doing currently isn't
is
working.
letting them go.
You think they could start fresh with like somebody
That's
fresh?
the problem, right? Isn't that the problem? They continuously start fresh.
No, but they start based off somebody already there. What if they started fresh? Somebody like completely fresh.
I think that plus like, yo, if this person writes Superman,
You let
nobody
him go.
else. That's it.
I
It's
agree
just
with
this
you.
guy.
I think
And that story's
If-
gonna
if
hold
they-
true for whatever.
if they do another reboot, keep it then. Keep
Yeah.
it till like it's done.
And
Let
let
that
them-
writer finish that story.
Let them
with
just
some-
die out.
Yeah.
Like, characters gotta just die out. You're gonna keep Superman alive for all this time.
They just gotta die
Yeah.
out. But what if they make issue 9 million and like he comes back and he has
No,
to do
there
something?
has to be an end to it, bro.
There
Like,
has to be.
like
man.
Invincible. I enjoyed Invincible. Like it's one of my favorite comics.
That's a really. You watched it?
Yeah, I finished
Really
it.
good,
But the
right?
reason I love
Really
it so
like,
much
yeah.
is because there's an end to it.
Yeah, I loved it a while
Like, you
ago when I
you
tried
watch-
to introduce
you
him to
watch
it,
Mark
and he
grow
just
up.
wouldn't read it.
But I did eventually.
I also like
Eventually.
The Boys.
The
The
Boys,
really
Boys
good.
is really good.
These-
Yeah.
See, with the boys, like speaking of adaptation, like 1-to-1, it's completely different. But I like the TV show better than I like the comic book.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
read the comic and watched.
They
the
can't
show.
adapt that to the TV show.
I mean,
Technically, they could. Yeah,
They could.
they're
It
just
was
choosing not
pretty
to.
bad. It was
No, but they
boring.
have there's no rating. They can do whatever they want. It's
Like,
online.
there have been rape scenes in shows.
Yeah, like spoiler alert. You know that part? You know that part where he's talking about what happened to Homelander's baby?
Say that again?
What happened to Homelander's baby?
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, she couldn't birth it, so it ripped out of her stomach.
Yeah.
That was actually in the comics.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So they
she
actually did
died
show that
during
scene,
birth.
so I guess they can adapt it, but
There was a rape scene in Game of Thrones.
Yep,
With,
plenty of rape scenes in Game of Thrones.
There's and more in the books, and then there's a rape scene in The Boys in the comics, where they like gangbang the new girl.
Yep, the 7 gangbang Starlight.
Yeah. That would have been good. That would have been good, like a scene. I think if they really
Huh?
held
Oh.
true to,
What?
to the
Yikes.
emotional content of it.
Huh?
Yikes, Joak. Woo! That's
I think that's a good place to end it.
That is not a good look, bro.
Nah.
I don't think we should end it there. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is yes, if they can have a continuous story and have an end with these characters that like have been alive for like However, I don't even know when comics started. Probably like 80, 90 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you kill off like right now if you had the choice?
Batman.
Joker.
You kill Batman?
I'll
Kill
kill
Batman
Joker.
off.
I
They
kill
use
Joker.
They'll-
100%.
There's such a Joker is such a good villain that pushes other people.
No, I'm
But
sick of
is-
Joker.
is
I'm sick of
Joker-
Batman.
I think everyone crutches
all
on
his answers. I'm Batman. I'll prepare. Like, yo, you get punched in the face as super. Like, come on. Like, that's all. I'm Batman. Just give me a day. I got you. Like, yo. What the heck?
I mean, somebody said Batman with prep time
Can beat anybody.
can beat anyone, even God himself.
yeah, that's just corny.
I think I'm sick of the Joker. That man gets
yeah,
put in
it's
fucking every
I think it's played
storyline.
out at this point.
And
I feel like he
every
should just get a gun, like a bullet to the head, and that's it.
correct. That's what I'm
Move
saying.
on.
Just
Yeah.
kill him. Move on. There's so many other rogues galleries that they can use and so many other characters, but they always just go back to Joker, even if it's not his comic book.
Mhm.
Like the metal thing, it was every Batman but with Joker. It was like the Batman who laughs. It was all just a Jokerized Bat. It's like I'm so sick of the fucking Joker. Like let it go.
Yeah. It wasn't a Jokerized Batman. It was a evil version of Batman.
The Joker. It was Batman who killed the Joker and then inhaled whatever the
Oh,
hell.
you're talking about that specific. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about the whole thing. I was like, there's other Batmans.
No,
that,
no, no.
like-
But then after they defeated all of them, the Batman who laughs survived,
Yeah.
became a god, and then he was the main villain for like the next however many issues.
Yeah.
And then they kept dragging that one character forever.
yeah.
I think he's still alive, like kicking, doing some crazy shit.
Now Batman's to the point that the only person he can fight is Batman
himself.
himself. So now there's another Batman where his dad survived and then he became a whole different vigilante, and now
Ow.
he's evil. I think it's like Omega Batman or something like that.
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm not up to date.
Yeah.
There's just so much in
confusing.
comics, yeah.
I would kill Superman too.
You'll kill Superman with a
Oh,
kryptonite.
I like Superman
Huh?
though.
Kryptonite. Yeah, just boom.
Yeah,
I want to see
It'd be
Superman
so
go nuts.
easy to kill Batman. I mean Superman. Just shoot him.
It's
Just
pretty
bow.
easy. Yeah,
I mean, he's faster than a bullet, so if he,
I mean, if he hears a bullet, he thinks it's a regular bullet, and then he just gets shot.
yeah,
with
you're
kryptonite.
right. I guess if he's
I mean,
like, I don't give a fuck.
you stick some kryptonite on Lois Lane's jacket, and then
A
that's
little
it.
dust, like anything,
Like,
like
that's it.
they've done like less, like, oh, you inhaled kryptonite, you're gonna
No,
get
he
weakened
doesn't
now.
die from that little. He gets weakened.
Yeah, just keep weakening him.
So what?
And then when
Until
you
you
see
kill
him
him.
weakened, that's when you pull up for the final blow. That's it.
Exactly.
In his head
That's it.
with a bullet.
I'm just tired of DC and Marvel just doing the
So
same.
just don't
thing.
read it, bro.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm reading Invincible, which I introduced you
You
to.
still gonna watch the movies,
Huh? The DC movies?
the Marvel movies?
Marvel movies? Yeah, Marvel movies are good.
I like
movies are
DC
good.
movies. I just think they've been doing some dumb shit recently.
I just want animated movies from mangas, and we're all good.
So what's one anime that you want live act? Oh, you
I
already
just
told
I just
said
told you. He
Cowboy
wasn't
Bebop.
listening to me.
No, I did
This whole
listen.
time.
Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Cowboy
Ghost in-
I know I
Bebop.
heard him.
Ghost in the Shell. Samurai
Cowboy
Champloo.
Bebop.
Ghost in the Shell we tried.
No, you weren't part of it. What are you talking about?
Like the Western media tried.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
I mean, when you use someone who's not Asian of descent,
Because I think
Yeah,
that's
right?
where you
but,
already go wrong.
But it's because they want the name. They want to be like, oh,
I think
let's
that's
just
the-
throw
they
the
coulda
rock
used-
and
they
everything
coulda-
because the
Actually,
name.
no.
I feel like
brings
that's I feel like that's the dumbest thing too, because like Invincible, they have a lot of like hard hitter actors who are doing voice acting. Some,
Yeah.
but there's way more than usual,
Just
and,
the first.
and they
three
wasted a
there.
lot of money paying them when they could have used that money to animate the show
better.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wondered that. I was in movies where they just need a voice, like animated movies. Like, why do they use big actors?
It's just for
like
the
in
name.
Onward. In Onward, they used Tom Holland and Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I was like, I felt
It's
like
for-
they could
it's-
use anyone.
It's for the
Like-
name. It's
Like
just
Pets, they use Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
It's like
it's just to be like, oh, Kevin
They-
Hart's in it. I'm gonna go watch it.
they almost had Louis C.K., but the thing happened.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Huh?
Ooh.
Louis C.K.
Nah, I know.
Oh. I feel like this is a good spot to end it.
Alright.
This was Idle Talk with the boys, Usman and Fabian. You guys want to exit out?
No, I'm good.
All right, that's an exit.
This is Fabian the Don, the realest Don,
Which Don?
the realest Don,
He's not a Don at all.
the realest Don, and yeah,
We're out. Valdez, the Don.
peace.
Deuces.